Right. Lou and the Russians.
Something about Russian?
Louise and the Russians. It's about my friend Louise. Alright? I'm chilling at the crib when a text dings in. It's my girl Louise. It reads, "Hey dude, where are you?" It reads, "Me and Beth are kind of in a situation right now. We could use some help with it." It says there's these two men here and it's pretty intense. I take the last swig of a brew and write back, "You want me to come over or whatever?" And she's like, "Yeah, if you don't mind." So I say, "Sure don't," and pull my boots on, taking a moment to pick out a song for the car ride. Commodores, The Night Shift. I groove over there into the back streets of Florence to a troubling old house, the type of house that sits next to an ambiguous chemical plant, the type of house whose old septic tank has been secretly leaking 8-inch sewage into the Mill River for decades, a house where ghosts are known to exist, a man and a woman Harriet walking the hallways like a couple of jerks. Houses like this that absorb headspace as well as create it always force a general sense of bondage. I roll into the driveway and amble up to the front door, both hands shoved tightly into my pockets, concealing the potentiality of fists. When I enter the house, everything freezes, a tableau vivant containing Louise and Bethany in creamy lace undergarments perched at the kitchen table, their knees pressed tightly together. And then there's two white guys with short cropped hair lording over the scene. One is a scrappy man with the face of a rodent, the eyes of a snake, his eyes threatening to consume the rest of his face at any moment, penetrating and starved. And the other dude is a frickin' giant, a strong man with his shirt off, muscles tense on his chest, holding an old musket in one hand and the other one touching a shoebox on the kitchen table containing a few handfuls of large gold coins. "Oh, good, you're here," Louise grins, snapping the scene back into motion. The scrappy guy offers a hand and says his name, Tully, while the other one lets out a grunt or something. I detect a weird accent that they both share. I said, "What's your accent?" I ask. They say it's Russian. "So you're from Russia?" They say, "No, Massachusetts." "So it's fake," I scoff. They say, no. But Louise butts in to avoid further conflict. "Do you need to borrow some lace underwear or bloomers?" she asks me, and I shrug. I don't have any on me, so if I could borrow some, yeah, obviously that'd be chill. So I start off this scene imagining that I might be asked to tackle a 250-pound bodybuilder with a potentially operational musket in hand, but then quickly accept the fact that I am now to be dressed in skimpy white bloomers and a lace bra. But another instance of the house's bondage, I guess. I get changed quietly. "Okay, so what is with the gold coins?" I ask. "Russian currency," they tell me. "So they still use gold coins and muskets in Russia, Massachusetts. Learn something new every hour." "So how does one acquire so much gold?" I dig further, and they immediately launch into stories about being in the Russian mafia, about how to make a good chunk of change, about how to make thousands selling free PDFs of books on Amazon.com, about how Tully watched his own father get shot in the head and die. I whispered to Louise, "And how do you know these two gentlemen?" She says, "High school. It seems Tully had taken her virginity." Totally. Now this all makes sense, but the bondage of it all is starting to crack, so I decide to take a break and grab a smoke on the porch. I'm framed in the doorway, not wanting to take my eyes off Tully, sending him daggers through chains of smoke. He stares back from the kitchen, he stares back, and I say, "I genuinely don't like you, though," I say, forcing my own hand of reality onto the house. Like, honestly, I'm like not joking, though. And in truth, it's complicated. I admittedly feel a familiar flare fire up in me, a fire that loves to consume men, and there are many ways of making money, but for real, I say, "Nah, dude, I don't trust you." And this fucks with his face, a twitch in his lip, and need to overcome me and force back his hand. He doesn't respond with words, but rather disappears for a moment, only to reappear with a series of small gifts. At this point, I'm sitting in a deck chair, and he's on one knee, brandishing each gift with a flourish of a magic man. A plate of small, fancy pickles, cornichons, some weird little olives, no pits, a teacup of mid-grade vodka of the Russian variety, of course. My legs are pulled up on the deck chair, knees squeezed together as he hovers, cautiously making his round of offerings, his hand taut, ready to flick back at the sight of teeth. Sure, I make rude snapping gestures at him. Most of the gifts I reject. The vodka I sip at delicately, glaring over the rim of the porcelain teacup. These boys have all their props, I think. The musket, the pirate's booty, the cleverly crafted gifts, all cheap but designed to look real from the distance and frame of a middle school stage. But my dudes, we're in a black box right now, and their budget is all too transparent. "I'm going in," I announced, knocking past Tully and his smooth-chested friend. By this point, Beth has conveniently made herself missing, leaving Louise and I to handle whatever situation this actually is. We all move into the living room, an odd spread of furniture featuring two musty couches placed next to each other, both facing nothing in particular. And Louise and I sit on different couches, and yet next to one another, pressed to the edge of our respective cushions, our knees all but brushing. The strong man decides decides to try his luck, plopping down next to Louise, and Tully carefully makes his approach, eyeing the cushion next to me. "No, Tully," I say, "you sit on the floor." And he does. He kneels down a good yard away. He kneels and watches me intently as Louise and I start engaging in small banter, parlor talk about nothing in particular. Every so often I look up to chide Tully for scooching closer, and each time Louise gives a churlish laugh, seemingly unaware of the strong man creeping in, clenching his butt cheeks and then releasing to propel himself another inch towards his prey. Louise leans in to say, "Hey, thanks for being here, dude." And I clap a hand on her knee. "Yeah, of course." And she gives me a hard look saying, "I know these dudes are dumb," she says. "I know, but some things that are like so deeply rooted, like they're hard to unroot alone." And I nod, thinking of the high school friends I had to unroot. Not that they were oppressive and terrifying straight men. My experience was much gayer than all that. But nonetheless, I understood why I was there. I understood. Suddenly I realize the hand I have on Louise's knee is not alone. The strong man has managed to close in the gap, and slowly he starts stroking her thigh. Very small strokes at first, as though to go unnoticed, and then broader strokes that remind me of a toddler petting a puppy's head for the first time. And though I am there for Louise, I know that this is for her to reject. I look up to find Tully's serpentine eyes devouring the movement of his friend's thickly padded hands, perhaps regretting his decision to target the obvious bitch. His stare is burning straight through Louise's thigh, then suddenly his attention snaps and a bubbling laugh rolls out of her, and the warmth of the laugh somehow makes it cruel enough that it forces the strong man's hand to freeze in mid-stroke. "Dude, your touch is crazy," she says. "Like, you don't even know how to touch someone, like a human?" And she laughs again, which makes me laugh, and I say, "I want to feel touch my arm." And the strong man looks at me all hurt and bewildered like, but he complies and strokes my arm once. More laughter. I even catch Tully trying to share in the laugh. Isn't it funny that you're a predator that can't touch, that you expect to walk into this house of bondage and dominate your prey, and yet here we are laughing, the matrons of this house laughing, because this is our fucked up reality, not yours. You're so threatening, you have no control. As someone who can't even touch, and we laugh, and Louise says, "Jenna, show him how to touch my leg, Jenna." And so I stroke her thigh without thought or effort. I start stroking her, and she closes her eyes for a moment, and she laughs and says, "That feels incredible, dude." And when she opens her eyes, she looks at me and says, "I love you, dude." And I say, "Yeah, me too." She says, "No, I really love you, And I realize I'm still stroking her thigh. I realize this room is so ripe with sex, that these men are so used to dominating that sex. And I wonder if now I am usurping that, and necessarily I replace their sexual dominance with more sexual dominance over who? Louise? For Louise? Will you stay with me tonight, she asks. "You want me to?" "Yeah, if you don't mind." So I say, "Sure don't," and pull my boots off, tossing them a little too close to where Tully is crouching. "Wait," Tully looks hurt, no longer sporting a Russian accent. "Can we stay here too?" "The couch is my dude's," Louise says, grabbing my arm and pulling me upstairs to her room. When her bedroom door is shut, a white noise I wasn't even aware of comes to a grinding halt. Now I hear the songbirds in their cage quietly peeping, the soft slithering of Leonard the snake cozying up in the sock drawer, a gust of wind through the thin, flowery walls, a gust of wind from Harriet's grave, and Louise and I collapse into bed. I witnessed what she wanted me to see, and now we collapse, our lace undergarments bunched into the crevices of our bodies, our arms and legs tucked into each other, and I wondered for a moment if I'm about to have sex with my friend. But then I think of Tully and the strong man in fetal positions on the couches downstairs, and I think that sex is just merging in the best way we can, and holy shit, to be merged tonight, Louise and I. And my only wish for this night, my final thought as I drift off, is that Tully and the strong man would one day find the strength to fuck each other to death. That's it.